Welcome to Fork Around and Find Out, the podcast about building, running, and maintaining software and systems. Welcome to Fork Around and Find Out, the podcast all about technology and forking around. Today we are going to find out with Tim Banks. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Hey, how's it going, y'all? Good to see you again.
We had you on the Ship It Show last year. It was a fantastic episode, and we wanted to have you back. We wanted to have another conversation. I wanted
to come back.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love it. Y'all are great.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
I don't know how do we really top the Ship It episode?
Oh, there are plenty of ways to top it, and I think we're starting off spicy right now because we had a whole pre-show conversation here, and Tim says they hate Ren fairs. And I'm curious.
Pure. Okay, so and here's why. All right, now Ren fairs are for 14th century-ish, 15th century-ish Europe, right? I'm half black and half Mexican. What do I have to do with 14th and 15th century Europe?
The way you looked into the camera and said it, I can't breathe.
You know what I'm saying? Like. A bunch of unwashed people who can't do math.
For
right?
People that cannot
largely illiterate. You know, the food is awful.
That turkey leg was amazing. Speak for yourself.
Okay, do you really think they had smoked turkey legs in Renaissance era Europe? They didn't. Like that. Number one. Number two, they have smoked turkey legs at every festival.
Do they?
Yes, every festival you go to has smoked turkey legs.
Yeah, I mean Disneyland just kind of kicked it off, and now it's everywhere. Yeah,
everywhere, literally everywhere has smoked turkey legs.
But do I get to look cute and get a turkey leg?
Yeah, but okay, so let's go to that looking cute because it's relative. There are some people that look cute at Ren Fair, and then other people that don't, and it's largely relative. But it's just cosplay is all it is.
It is.
But I'm not gonna cosplay people who are trying to genocide my people. You know what I'm saying?
That's everything. That's fun. I'm brown. That's everything.
Well, it's not everything that's fun, but I'm certainly not glamorizing. You know what's great about these people? Nothing.
I go to Ren Fair as a fairy. They didn't I think they were equal opportunity.
The fairies
go after everybody.
That would be like me going to, I don't know, some festival, something that doesn't exist. Is me going dressed up as Jesus somewhere. Just.
You should do that though. It would be fun.
Dress up as a Palestinian immigrant in this economy.
I feel like you could put a spin on that. That would be so much fun.
I mean, my shirt is.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like you could make that the most ironic Tim version of just about anything.
Yeah, but I there are some folks I would cosplay, but neither fairies nor Renaissance
folks. Who would you cosplay?
I would. And now I have never cosplayed before, but I would cosplay.
How? Well, you get dressed up for something.
I mean, is it Halloween a cosplay? Is that
no?
Yeah, what do you designate cosplay? Because I feel like you get dressed up for something.
A specific character. Well, I mean, I dress, but it's not cosplay. Cosplay is as a person, as a specific character, kind of thing, right?
No sports jerseys. No name, number. On
I
the
mean,
back.
I have Mexico team sports jerseys, stuff like that, but not really cosplay, right?
It's
so if I was going to cosplay anybody, it would be Saw Gerrera.
Who's that?
Saw Gerrera is probably, in my opinion, the most badass character in the entire Star Wars universe, right? He was played by Forrest Whitaker in Rogue One, right? But he
the best
also
Star Wars movie. Rogue One.
He's also in Andor, and he debuted in Clone Wars, right?
Never seen Star Wars.
Wait, what?
No.
Any of them? Autumn, I'm gonna kick you off the show right now.
Yeah, no,
you just need to go stop and watch.
How you gonna? You're I'm into fairies and blah blah blah, but I've never seen Star Wars.
Fairies and magic are different than this.
What do you think the Force is?
How is it? Yeah, how is it different?
But they're just different kinds of magic.
How do you know? They both don't exist.
Exactly.
Star Wars is like the Ren Fair of magic. Like Star Wars is just right up. It's like the
Star Wars is literally
I feel
space
like-
Ren Fair.
yeah, 100%.
Princesses, weird characters, swords.
Yeah.
You know, squashbucklers.
Yeah,
Predators.
It's sci-fi Ren.
You
Fair.
know.
It's like space, but like
You've never seen it, so I don't know how you're gonna describe
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
no.
Star,
I'm saying
Star,
the way you're describing it sounds
Star-
like all the
Star
same
War-
stuff, but like with space.
Star Wars is a space western, is all it is. It's no different than
I've
essentially
never
it's a
heard it
blueprint
described
for
that
like.
way.
Well, it's a same blueprint for Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, et cetera, et cetera. It's a space western.
Firefly.
Yeah, I guess.
You like Firefly? Oh man.
Bro,
It's all right.
okay. Every
It's okay.
time we have Tim on the show, I feel like we need like full video episodes.
Why don't you release this to YouTube? This should go to
Okay.
YouTube.
We can post this on
Just
YouTube.
put it on YouTube. Yeah.
Because
This-
like for one, they can't see their eyeliner and the faces, and then they'd be like
Yeah.
staring into the camera,
delivery's good.
and like it's
Which-
it's the best.
Which, by the way, if this is your first episode of Fork Around and Find Out, listeners, this one is going to be a lot of fun. So
Tim,
So
tell us
stick
about
around.
all your background. Tell us about-
Well, first of all, I originally wanted to do this as an after dark. Like I wanted this
Yeah.
to be like, you know, like a live stream after dark, and I will still talk you into doing one of these one day. About me. So, I am for a couple of more days, I am a 4-stripe brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
this is
I'm
coming
five-
out after.
Proud of
This is
you.
coming out after Saturday. So you're.
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
can-
So I am a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
I'm
I
so
am
proud
the
of you. Work so hard.
5-time Pan American champion, 3-time American national champion, 3-time silver medalist in world championships, international masters bronze medal, and a bunch of like gold medals in various opens throughout Texas and other
Dang,
states and
Tim.
stuff like that.
Dang.
And then I also do like some computer stuff to pay the bills.
That's so
gotta
real.
pay for these. And I'm pretty good at that. I've been doing that for like almost 30 years. So, but yeah, like, and then, you know, aside from that, I am a, you know, just an absolute raging leftist, and support causes, that my views like that. So, but yeah, no, I've got a very long and unremarkable background in several careers. I was in the Marine Corps. I was a musician. I was a professional chef. I was a general contractor. So like I
Is
worked.
there anything you can't do, Tim? Like
Dance. I'm a terrible dancer.
I can't. I feel like you could. I can't. I we need to see this in real life. I feel like you have to be
So what I can do is I can swing dance, and Hazel's gonna love it that I said that because I have not done it in years. I can swing dance because it's like some series of steps and stuff like that. But like normally, I just like I can play. I have such great independence when I play drum set and stuff like that. I can march off left foot or right foot, like play blah blah blah. So it's not a matter of that. It's just for some reason I can't. I can do literally everything else in my body, but I can't dance.
I feel like you can probably dance better than most people.
I mean, I probably can, but
If Tim and I had
for
a
me,
dance
don't.
off, I guarantee you'll still win. This
Oh
is-
yeah, because I can
Is
find
that
the.
fair?
I mean, I can still find a beat. Don't get me wrong, but like, like
I mean, there's a reason that I listen to hardcore music and go to mosh pits because it's just like that's the dance of like that I
Every
would
time
do.
you say that, I think about that picture of your arm, and it grosses me out all over again.
It's that, and that's the reason I don't go to mosh pits anymore.
Traumatized me. Thanks.
but
Susan.
but it's also kind of really funny because it's like, oh man, my camera's doing this thing again. But it's also really kind of funny because I have this thing where it's like, I am a good enough developer. Like I write automation, right? But you don't want me like writing like code. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
Like I can think my way through code. I can do that kind of stuff like that. But I don't have the right kind of patience, right, to be a developer. It just does not appeal to me. It's not something I do, but it's not, so it's like, but now
Tell us
I
about
can,
your career. Like, what have you done, like tech-wise?
so like I started off, way long ago, pre Y2K, working on like Windows systems and like AS400 and mainframes.
And for
right?
people that are too young to know what Y2K is, it was the year 2000 when we thought all the computers were going to
Well,
break.
because I think people see Tim's like big personality and spicy takes, and they don't realize how much of a background that you have to back up all of those spicy takes, right? Like
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
just like some people on the internet do the like grift of just being spicy. No. Tim has the actual like pedigree to like back up all of those spicy thoughts. So like tell us about that before we get into this place.
So I was a Windows sysadmin and AS400 operator. Then I moved into Sun Systems, systems administration, and then especially around E10Ks and Oracle databases, and then moved from there into basically pretty much every commercial Unix out there. So HPUX and IRIX, digital Unix, which was my favorite. Working on big deck alpha systems, so a lot of big Unix systems, a lot of mainframes and stuff like that. As an operator and dealing stuff like working for ISPs and working for manufacturers, supporting things like that. So a lot of enterprise stuff and a lot of early internet stuff where it's like I'm dealing with arrays of T1 lines and dial-up modems both on the server side. Like, I used to I was the kind of person that had all their modem settings, like AT ampersand 7, caret, blah, blah, blah. Like I had those things. It's like, oh, is this a Rockwell modem? I'll use use dial-up string. Oh, is this, 56K? And I had opinions. Matter of fact, I had a US Robotics Courier 56K external modem up until like 2015.
Have you ever not had opinions?
I mean, not that I can recall. But like I had opinion, like even then it was like, well, you want to use this modem for this or this modem for this or these ones look in these circumstances and blah, blah, blah. Because you had to, right? Because it was like connecting to the internet wasn't just a frivolous thing. It wasn't just an automatic thing. Like it took some doing, and if you wanted to have any kind of reliability, you had to not just have like a know-how of how to type on the keyboard. You had to know physically how they worked and how to optimize them. Like, how long could the copper be? How long could this? How many bends could you have? It's like, what was your pot size? You had to know a lot of things about that. You had to know how to polish the end of fiber optic cables to stick them into your fiber channel drives and stuff. So like you had to know a lot about systems beyond just the software. You had to know about architecture, right? And then you get into kind of like a more hypervisor VM kind of based thing with the advent of VMware. And that, you still had to know the systems, but you had to know them less. And then, start working in the advent of the cloud. So like I first started messing with the cloud with Azure when it was still just nothing but like a Windows systems orchestrator. And then with AWS, I think I started working with like right in 2012. And then went from there also into like large, because I had worked on Oracle systems in the past, and I went into working on like large databases, MySQL a lot, because I was working for ISPs and web hosts. Learned all the whole LAMP stack pretty much inside and out. Yeah. And then I went into working into like MongoDB and other NoSQL, then into Elastic, working as a senior SRE. My last like frontline engineering job was a senior SRE at Elastic, working on Elastic Cloud and, writing like pipelines and like logging and observability, stuff like that.
Before
and then I went into
the
like,
terms, yeah.
yeah. And then I went into like more of the more consultative space, working as a TAM for AWS and then Mission Cloud. Was a principal solutions architect at Equinix. I was the principal cloud economist at the Duckbill Group. And then lead developer advocate at Dell, and then now I'm here at Kalen as a customer solutions architect. So I've worked on companies from plucky little startups to Fortune 50 companies. I guess Amazon's a little small, Fortune 5 or whatever. I've worked in everything from K through 12, higher ed, government contractor, defense contractor. So I've seen a lot and I've done a lot in the various environments.
What's been consistent across all of those? Like, what's the
stupidity? Absolute stupidity of humankind. Like we will absolutely make the same mistakes over and over and over again at all levels, right? Yeah. Every startup founder thinks they have everything figured out. Every startup founder thinks that they're like, oh, well, we're going to be doing it this way, and they all make the same mistakes. Every last one of them.
I feel like the last year, like you can tell why old people just be over life. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just watching the same mistakes over and over.
but you see companies, they go from the little startups and they try to grow, and they run into these same problems with scaling, right? The same growth, the growing pains, and there is a problem with taking people who are good engineers and putting them in the, leading companies, right? Because they don't know how to lead.
It's like when you take a good engineer and you make them a manager, those are two different skills.
But it's like, it is a completely different skill, but also it's like they don't know how to lead, right? But they also don't want to be told how to lead, right? And there's this big clash of like, hey, you're not doing this very well. And they're like, oh, well, I'm growing and learning, but they don't accept that from anybody else.
But do you think that's because engineering typically has like a certain personality type? Because I wonder that too when it just comes to working with other engineers and just
it's not engineering that has a certain personality type. It is entrepreneurship that has a certain personality type, right? The person who's going to I'm going to start off and do this thing on my own, blah, 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 because I think it's a better way to do it, right? Which is fine. And that's great. But the problem that you have is that...
Oh, we lost you.
Oh, am I not there? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Tim, come back.
Oh, man. I was just trying to reconnect. I can hear y'all. It's so wild. Give me a second. It's just trying to reconnect.
See the time ticking, so I know it's still recording. And we're still...
Internet connection gets us every time.
It knows we're talking about
Let me know when you can hear me. Still recording.
No,
all right, am I there?
You weren't here for at least a minute.
Oh, wow. What was the last thing you got?
Entrepreneurship was the problem.
Okay, so the problem is it's entrepreneurship. There's a certain personality type that goes into entrepreneurship because they feel like, hey, I can do this thing different, better. I have a better idea, right? Which is great, and that's all well and fine. But the problem that you have is that you are going over road that a lot of people have already gone over. Instead of learning from the tire tracks, they're like, oh no, we can do this. We're going to go over the same thing. I'm going to go over here. And those tire tracks go usually off the side of the road, right? The other thing that they have is there's this notion of, you got to learn from mistakes, and they will go to people who have been successful and be like, well, how did you do it? Right. But what they don't do is they don't go to the people who weren't successful, and that's how do they do it? Because those answers are almost always going to be the same.
But is that really just entrepreneurship? Because engineers do that all the time.
But again, it's a different thing because there are engineers that don't do that. There are engineers that are like, I'm just going to be sitting here doing my thing. Like
people are constantly reinventing the wheel and being like, it's different.
But the people reinventing the wheel are the one that make their own companies because like, oh, I have this own startup project, I'm going to make this its own company. You know what I'm saying? Like people who reinvent the wheel, like Apple don't reinvent the wheel. You know what I'm saying?
Except for the click wheel. That was a big reinvention, and they claim they reinvented the wheel with it.
I think it's really interesting how Apple has been very careful about getting into the AI game because
because they're terrible at it.
No, I will. Apple's been the smartest about it.
They have. And then if you look at how AWS has got nothing but horrible press for the last 2 weeks about how they're behind and how that messed up their stock
2 weeks?
price.
You mean 2 years?
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about they got the crap kicked out of them for the last 2 weeks. Their stock's down.
They've been getting it for 2 years, right?
But they've tried the aspect of investing in Anthropic, the biggest investment they've ever made. They've tried reinventing Q, coming out with
how many times they've reinvented Q?
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? The more that people talk about Apple, I'm sorry, that just makes Apple look smarter because they were like, look, we know that this is not our wheelhouse. This is not our specialty. We're going to do enough of it to stay competitive. But I really think that this is a very interesting contrast between the two in this AI race.
Well, the main thing I think is interesting, right, about what we see that Gen AI has done, it is lowered the bar, right, for entry into something. And in the same way that, let me give you a great example, right? When kind of pop music and hip hop music really started to suck, right? Was when anybody could just get on the internet and record something and put it out there, right? And then people could hear it, right? It used to be that it was vetted. Like you couldn't just record something and get it on the airways, right? You would have to go to somebody would have to audition, like, okay, yeah, we're going to take you, we're going to groom you, we're going to invest in you. So you're going to go here and like, go to this finishing school, you go to music school, blah, blah, blah. And you finally get it out and it's produced and then it hits the airwaves and it's a product of some kind, right? God damn it, my camera's doing it again. They don't have that now, right? So folks could just go on like MySpace or whatever and like record this thing and like, oh, I'm a recording artist. And then now people are going to listen to me. And like, it got worse and worse and worse. The inshitification of music, right? You democratize it, sure, but you lower the bar to get people out in front of people, right?
I mean, the internet did that for a lot of things, right? Because writing, music, video,
Yeah,
all that.
yeah.
Just the distribution became easy to reach a lot of people.
Exactly. And because it became so easy, any two, no offense, but any two dorks out there can go and make a podcast, right? And get it out there instead of like used to be like, are you going to talk show? Or are you going to be like maybe public access cable or something like that, right? So, now think about this with any product that requires development, right? Hands on keyboards, so now any person who has, $20 ChatGPT or Claude or whatever can vibe code their way into some kind of product and make it look real good to put it out in front of people. Hey, I've done this thing, right? But it's actual crap, right? And they didn't have to vet it past anyone who's a systems thinker or an architect or systems engineer or anything like that. Even an investor who's gonna be like, man, I don't know about that. That's not good, blah, 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 because it's too easy to do now, right? The difficulty of doing something meant that you had to think it out. And now you don't do that anymore.
Also, I think the fact that it was very expensive because you had to hire other people to do it and pay those engineers, there was more thought put into it. But I kind of wonder, like, it's not always going to be this cheap. It's just not sustainable to keep ChatGPT this cheap.
I mean, we're in the Uber moment of ChatGPT, right? Because like this is all the VC money is funding how cheap it is for end users to get a ride.
Exactly.
Right? And right now we're like, oh, cool, my ride is this much, and now all the Uber prices have gone up at least double over the years since when it started, and I think it's going to go the same way. Or a lot of the startups are going to shut down because they just can't afford.
Yeah, Gartner just came out saying that majority of the agentic projects will be sunsetted before 2027.
Because that's their runway, right? That's like the runway for a lot of startups.
Well, not just that, but I think that right now they want to try everything as an agent, and eventually you're going to see like what would have just been better as a bash script somewhere or regex and programmatically done, or what was just not feasible to begin with. But like where does the fallout end up?
I would agree with you on that if the fact that people are still trying to put WordPress sites on Kubernetes. You know what I'm saying?
I really think that gets some people, like, that's some people's jam, that like, let's overcomplicate this. And I'm just like, bro, you could have put that website in S3 and made it
here's the thing.
Why are we doing this right now?
Remember when I was coming up, right? You could host a website by logging in SSH to a server, like making a little going in VI, making a little HTML, blah 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 blah, right? And then major little HTS because redirect and pop something and just patch server. Bam, you're serving your web page, right? You go in and make your little DNS to point to your thing / username, blah blah blah. You're hosting a website, right, on a server. That was enough to serve a static page, and you could serve static assets from there all day long, and everything was good, fine, well enough. Apache web server bind, as it was fine, right? We don't do that no more, right? Even on a static website, you have like CDN, it's got this and got this. It's a very, very complicated thing to do the exact same things we were doing before, right? But to what end? You know what I'm saying? Like if we have to go and write a Lambda to do a function when you used to put SSH into a server and just run that thing. Or run as a cron job.
There's some people out there doing the simple way because they absolutely refuse, but I get what you're saying.
But where has the money been? Right, the money has been in these ridiculously complicated ways of doing it. Why? Because there's money in it. You know what I'm saying?
But I wonder, like, how long is this sustainable? Because what was that? They did like a projection of how profitable AI would have to be to sustain it, and the amount of years that it would take is like wild. You know what I mean? So like, is this then like I know that they've blown a lot of money before, but this almost seems like like does this then affect how they can invest in the future? Like, what is the fallout? And like, at that point, have we lost so many people's trust that
I'm
they
gonna
just
I'm
want nothing
gonna
to do with technology
my
anymore?
my response to this is just Tesla, right? Remember, companies don't have to make a profit on the books. They just have to sell stock at a profit. Doesn't matter how much money you lose as long as your stock is going up. That's what it is, right? Tesla's losing money left or right. They still lose left, whether they want to admit it or not, right? Maybe they made a profit finally, right? After how many years, but it doesn't matter as long as the stock price is good, right?
But can we continue this? Like, how long can we continue this for? Because like, the economy is wild right now.
As long as the stock prices are going up, as long as there is return on investment for the investors, nothing else matters. That is the problem with late stage capitalism, is that you can make anything as crappy as you want to. You can lose as much money as you want to on the books as long as that stock price keeps going up. That's the only thing that matters.
So with seeing like just tech from like ISPs to now, like how do you think this next ride is going to go? Like,
the only thing that's
capitalism.
The only thing that is going to save is we have to literally, you have to, first of all, you have to put consumer protections back, right? The SEC actually has to go in there and like bust some monopolies up, right? There's only like 10 companies anymore, really. Yeah. That can do anything or have any sway or control, that make any products like that. How many like really hardware manufacturers are there anymore? Like for consumer, it's just a few, right? There used to be a lot more, and it was a lot more competitive, but also there was a lot less, of literally a monopoly of information at this point, right? Between you got Microsoft with all majority of the hosted code, I feel like, in the world at this point. You got Meta, who owns both Facebook and the social media aspects like that. You got Apple with a monopoly on these other things. Like, there are just a few companies out there that everything funnels to the top to, and every time something is good, they either buy it up or take it over. You know what I'm saying?
Meta is famous for that. Like, they will just buy all.
They're still in a lawsuit about if they need to split out Instagram because they bought it so they could squash it.
So nothing like that nothing is going to change until that changes, right? Until we actually break up some of these interests and we make some of these folks compete against each other, right?
What I think is interesting to that point, Procter and Gamble just said that they're going to increase their prices by 25% to go with tariffs, right? And if you think about that, because of the amount of companies and products that Procter and Gamble now like produce, because they are such a monopoly, that one company raising their prices by 25%, the difference that's going to have on the economy is going to be wild, because it's not like just stuff that you can choose not to buy. It's laundry detergent. It's so many things. They've bought so many companies.
Well, here's the other thing too. It's not like those prices are ever going to go back down either.
And it's not like their competitors are going to keep their prices down.
They don't
right?
have
Like, now they're setting the bar.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
like,
and anyone else that would be in the space now says, "Oh, I can make more money." Right? Yeah. Like, now the price is a different bar.
Yeah. Look at airlines, right? What is the real difference between airline tickets, and to go from one place to another? We're talking
if I die on Frontier or not.
That's yeah. But
will I make it on Spirit? Will I not make it?
But you look at most of your major carriers, you're talking like dozens of dollars maybe difference. The main difference is what time it takes off.
And it's wild because it used to be like nice food on certain airplanes and then no food, and like it's really just like it is the most bare minimum of airplane like processes on all of them now.
But I still remember when you had like American, United, Delta, Pan Am, Continental, Eastern. You had all, like, when you had a bunch more airlines, right? And then you had a lot more choices. And you don't really have those choices anymore, right? I remember when there were more car manufacturers, and you don't really have.
Didn't someone just buy Spirit too?
What, Spirit of Halloween? Like what?
Like Spirit Airlines, because I know Alaska bought Hawaiian.
They merged, yeah.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah, so like I don't even think that the smaller companies that we're thinking about are the
Yeah.
smaller companies anymore.
And that's the only way they can really be competitive anymore. And so you look at all these merging and things like that. So you take that. Now I want you to take that and look at the tech landscape, right? Where does all the AI money funnel to in the end? NVIDIA. Right? And NVIDIA stock is going to keep going up. NVIDIA is going to keep making investments. All these other things, cover the losses. All these other companies' stock price is going to keep going up. Why would they care about whether it's profitable or not?
Which is interesting to me because it's not like there aren't other AI hardware. Like Google does it, Amazon does it. But they do it for themselves. They don't typically sell it. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of these like
Graviton at this point.
Graviton's the ARM stuff. They have Triton.
But all those people still offer NVIDIA stuff because
because
like,
it's the generic one that everyone. It's like NVIDIA has the ecosystem.
But what happens when they have too many chips though? Because like it cannot be like a lack of chips.
What do you mean too many chips? Give me a scenario where that happens.
It's like too many lanes on the highway. Right? Like it just fills up.
Yeah, they're going to use them. If they're there, they're going to use them. This is where I go back to the cloud has made us reckless.
Yeah.
But I mean okay, so the cloud, yes, the cloud needs to be powered by something, but like the increase of like these massive amounts of chips, like how is it sustainable? Like wasn't there like a river that they showed the other day that completely has like no water in it? Like,
here's the thing though. They don't care whether it's sustainable. They absolutely do not care. They will scrape out and destroy every bit of earth they can as long as they can still keep making the stuff.
I think this is also interesting though, as like engineers and as people in tech, right? Like we were talking to Duffy the other day, and he was talking about kind of like looking at the next like train and the next thing that you want to get into. But like, how do new engineers or even engineers that have been in it for a while, like, what is like the future things that you look towards? Because I mean, it's hard to figure out like what are we doing next because it's just like complicating the things that we already did.
This is also the thing where the part that we're not talking about in our industry is, right, when this is all said and done, what is our part in this, right? I mean, you've got everyone who's directly shilling, Gen AI, right, as if it's a good thing, right? And it's like watching people shill for cigarettes or tobacco or alcohol or heroin. Like there's enough
or
information.
Web3.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's enough information already out now that using Gen AI is actively harmful for mental health, for your cognitive stuff like that, for your ability to reason, stuff like that. Right. There's already studies out on that. Right. We already know what its ecological impact is. Right. We already know, right, what its economic impact is to various cities and stuff like that, to people, people's jobs are like that. But yet we're having people who come out here still saying, oh, well, it's a good thing. And how? Right? We're having people who are saying, oh, this should be mandated that people have to use it. Right? And I want you to think about, imagine if they mandated that people had to use heroin. You know what I mean? Like, does it make you feel good? Can it make you faster? Maybe. Like, here's great. All right, we're gonna mandate everyone's gonna do a bump of cocaine like every hour just to make them more productive. Right.
That just makes me think about when Coke used to be when cocaine was put in Coke sodas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
bro, I'm telling you right now,
if you had kids walking around just like,
if you had all these engineers, snort methamphetamine, I'm pretty sure they'd be very productive and it'd be less harmful for the atmosphere.
Wasn't there like an article the other day about how many people that are on Wall Street are doing Adderall? Like, are we not? Like, because it seems like they're already doing it.
But the interesting part is here we're saying, it's a net good because eventually it will do this or enables you to do this or whatever like that. And I was like, but these were things we could already do before.
That's why I'm just so confused. Like, I feel the logical part of my brain is like, okay, these pieces go together, and like, just I am failing to see the logic and like where this goes next.
The thing that happens is when we ask them at what cost, right, and then that just gets smoothed over, because no one really wants to talk about at what cost.
I think what you were saying before about consumer protections, like FCC needs to go in and break up some monopolies, but I also think on the other end, I've definitely come around to the collective bargaining of the employees, right? Like being able to say we're not doing this as a whole,
Yeah.
And nowhere in technology do they have that power to say, no, this costs too much. People are individually walking out and saying no, and some big names have, been outspoken about that, but it's not a collective whole. The company does not care. They're just like, okay, we'll go to the next.
What I think is really interesting about tech is we have this big DevOps movement that's been around 15 years now or whatever, and it's a big fancy way of just saying, hey, we're going to collaborate. That's all it is. How do we collaborate?
I think that's why I love DevOps the most, because to me it's got the most human, collaborative community version of tech.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that problem has been figured out by every other industry forever ago. Restaurants have figured it out. Doctors have figured it out. Automobiles have figured it out. Construction has figured this out. Like, everyone's already figured out how to collaborate between disparate concerns and disparate stakeholders to work together to do one thing, right? That's how.
I always also love open source, because it is like. I think DevOps and open source go so well together because of the collaborative.
Open source is the Ren Fair of technology. Yeah,
it is, and that's why I love it. Did you see Tim's face when you said that? You heard a part of his soul.
I would only say that maybe if you're trying to unwashed bodies by number, right?
Wow.
Percentage.
I want to say you're wrong, but
go smell around a Ren Fair and tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, Tim, that's my least favorite part. No.
I know. But I think the reason I'm saying that is because all these other industries also figured out the importance of unions, right? Construction.
I was going to
manufacturing.
Do you think that engineers ever get to a point where they unionize? Because I feel like we're constantly in between the golden handcuffs, and I feel like the chance that we had to unionize was kind of fumbled. And do we ever get that chance again?
We have to reckon with the fact, before we ever unionize, we have to reckon with the fact that what we are doing requires no more brain power than being a plumber or being an architect or being, a carpenter or anything like that, right? And until we do that, we're going to think we don't need to do that, because those unions are for those kinds of jobs, for blue collar jobs.
It's wild how people don't see the connection, though. You're all building.
I do think that AI opened a lot of people's eyes of maybe I'm not that special. Right, maybe this pattern that has been trained in this model that spits it back out of the thing that I wanted. I do think that's been an eye opener for a lot of people.
But it was the same thing before. But you were looking it up on Stack Overflow. The pattern wasn't a secret.
Right. The thing you had to connect the dots.
Here's the thing: is and I love this argument. Well, it's no different than looking up with Stack Overflow. Yes, it is.
No, I'm not saying that. No. Wait, hold on. I'm not saying that AI isn't different, but I'm saying we're getting information, right? But I think when it was Stack Overflow, I'm actually really sad that I think we're going to lose the community of Stack Overflow, even if they were mean. But it was a bunch of people solving the same problems and then leaving breadcrumbs behind for other people to solve those problems, right?
Right.
Don't get me wrong, using AI is different. They're not the same, but it's still going and seeking out information to help you solve a problem. It now depends on if you're using your brain to help you solve that problem or if you're vibe coding. Yeah. But how could you think that nobody was special on their own? I don't care how big your ego is. You were special because you were able to find that information and then make it make sense. But every engineer depended on somebody else and their breadcrumbs. You know what I mean?
You say that until the startup hires the rockstar engineer or the 10x engineer, or this engineer is they can figure out everything on their own. They don't need anything else.
But they don't though. They that is the ego and the fact that they think that
and that
they're the
ego,
same people who break everything and never know how to take accountability for anything.
But that ego is what will keep us from unionizing for a long time.
I think that ego has kept us from unionizing.
And that's what I'm saying. Until we can accept that, oh well, I'm smarter than. No, you're not. You actually are not.
You know what blows my mind though? Majority. Okay, if you think about all the people that we have interviewed on this podcast that are amazing technologists, what are the things that they all have in common?
They've all been on this podcast.
Did you go to college?
Absolutely not.
Okay, look, think about it. Majority of people did not go to college. Majority of people have had many jobs and all different kinds of jobs that changes their perspective on how they like come to technology, right? Like Kelsey Hightower, Duffy, like all these people. I think Angie Jones is the only person that has like a straight computer science degree. You know what I mean?
Ew,
like
straight.
But you know what I mean, like like a typical computer science degree, right? So like it's just funny because
I mean, I have a master's in IT. Like that's
You what?
like, yeah, like there's there. I think that the correlation there's more. What every year Nicolas Cage has a movie come out. There's more pool drownings. Right, like that's a very broad like statement of like this is what happens with the data, but it's not actually like necessarily caused. I think good people that want to do good and are kind to other people will do better for the broader industry. But there's a lot of money and there's a lot of egos and there's a lot
I
of
don't
Right.
know. I really do think that people that have a background of trying like things in the physical realm and different jobs, and just like I think that for one, you're proven that you've tried different things and you've learned how to succeed at different things, right? Like if all you do is go to school and succeed at one thing, I'm not saying that you're not a good engineer, but I do think that there is a difference of like having different jobs, trying different things, and like having a diverse background.
But the question I have, Autumn, is how many of us are CEOs of these companies that actually are setting the direction?
Valid.
And we're not, right? Because by and large, right? Because we don't think like they think.
But I think that's a lot. I think there is a very distinct attitude of where the technological world is going. If you talk to people that are building it and using it and who have been there a long time versus the like executives.
The vast majority of the people I know in this industry, right? This is their life, not their job, their life, right? And when you make that their life, then it has to be a sport. It has to be important. They have to do this because it is their whole life. It's like anybody else. Like if I've dedicated my life to this thing, right? You're going to tell me that I'm not that good at it, not that special at it. Like it's going to be real hard. It's like the thing that when I tell people, it's like the first time people, like when somebody's like really into a company, right? Oh, I've been working here for like 10, 15 years, whatever like that. And then they get laid off and they don't know what to do.
I definitely think it becomes part of like if you're not careful, it can become part of your self-worth. But I don't understand why they can't, like why it isn't, like you can be good at something and still admit that it takes community and that it's not just the fact that you are individually like a freaking genius all on your own. Like I think
it's even more than that. You can be good at something and also realize it's not that important. That's the bigger part. It is not that important. You are not that important in this thing. There are how many other software engineers out there? There are how many other operators? You know what I'm saying? Like you're doing this thing, you are replaceable. All of us are replaceable. And because of that, right, it is important that we do things together, that we act as one, right? Because if they can just replace you with anybody else, and they can and they will, right, then everyone has to be on the same sheet of music, right? You have to bargain collectively. You have to insist on these things as a unit, as a whole, as a practice, as a trade, as a guild, right? Otherwise, they're going to just willy-nilly everything for anybody like that. We don't have the protections that they have in Europe for these jobs. We don't have the protections they have in Canada for these jobs. We don't have the protections that other folks in this country and unions have had to fight for to do. And the other thing, these companies, when you try to, the companies at large here will do everything they can to bust any union effort, right? So again, this goes to like the fact that we don't have the kinds of regulations we need to do to protect either the consumers or the employees. Everything is here just to put money in the pockets of investors. And almost always, so much that it should be the name of a law, right? What is good for investors is mutually exclusive to that which is good for employees or consumers.
I don't think we're getting those laws anytime soon.
No, we won't. Yeah. But when we come back to what is our part in this, right? How ready can we admit to pose like, yeah, like, oh wow, like We were absolutely ready to lambaste and ridicule out of the industry. And we have people who were big into Web3. Like, people were huge into Web3, but we don't hear about them no more. You know what I'm saying?
NFTs are nowhere to be found.
No, and
like
right, right,
blockchain,
and those people got real quiet, right? But how many of the people we know, respect, and love, right, are shilling AI, right? And those are gonna say, like, look, this is not great. This is not good. Like, this is not it. This is not the vibe. This is not, this is not the moment, right? But to what end? And I'm not saying that they should be treated like people who have a Web3, because I think there was great promise. But I do think there does need to be a reckoning, and we as an industry need to stop with this is brand new and everyone should jump on board, right? We should be much, much, much more skeptical of stuff, because that's the way. Early days of open source, man, you had to go in front of stuff like that and like put stuff, and they would lambaste you. Well, you had to really prove something. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be where you have to go in front of like some people with some experience and actually convince them before you get airtime, right?
I don't think people have a choice now, though. Everybody, like, there's so many layoffs and things going on. I don't know if people feel that. I think they do, but I don't. But in a way, like, people are just trying to like pay their mortgage at this moment. You know what I mean?
Right, and we are absolutely in some ways a bed of our own making, but also we are also victims of circumstance here, right? Yeah. But the other aspect of it is that it's not going to get any better until we say, like, yeah, okay, we're going to make this change.
That's true.
Personally, I am very much of a fan as the person who leads the company should be the one that wins by combat. Like, I should be able to go to the CEO of any company and be like, let's fight, and the winner gets to lead the company.
I mean,
I like my chances.
Because you're like a black belt. Like, not all of us are a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Hey, look, these CEOs could have been doing something better with their lives. They could have been studying martial arts.
I was still waiting for the Elon and
I'm so sad.
I wanted that fight.
They didn't do that.
The Elon Zuckerberg fight.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Both of them are big fucking cowards. Yeah. The two of them.
Okay,
and I will look. I will go right now. I will challenge Zuckerberg or Elon Musk right now. Right now, half of your fortune. Right now, Zuckerberg, I know you train jiu-jitsu. Come on, half of your fortune. IBJJF rules.
I just want to know, who were you rooting for, because you have the knowledge of, like, BBJ? Like, which one did you have your money on?
Oh, Zuckerberg.
Oh, Elon was not even.
No, Elon, are you kidding? Are you
it was
kidding?
The only time
No
I've
way.
ever
Are you
rooted
kidding?
for Mark Zuckerberg in my life.
It's not even rooting for it. It is reality. It is absolute reality.
I think the question was, would there have been like a permanent injury for Elon?
I'm just saying that, like, if we all had to exist in this new timeline that is garbage, that could have at least given us a little bit of joy. Like, it was the least they could have done.
I will be very clear on this, and I want this to be unequivocal. Like, the number of people that Elon Musk could beat in a fight is smaller than the number of people that could beat Elon Musk in a fight in the world.
Yeah. I can see that. It seems logical to me.
Everyone just missed the Justin face. It was adorable.
Hey, this video's going up. We'll post the video. It's fine. Tim, you said something earlier, and I wanted to ask. You said all these people, startup entrepreneurs, are asking people that succeeded, but not the people that failed. Mm-hmm. What's something that you failed in that you learned from?
Oh man, I've been fired from jobs before. I think it's like you fired from jobs. I've had failed relationships. I've had like personal failures. So failure it's not even a thing I fear anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I'll give you a great example. In jiu-jitsu, right? You know, the first two things you learn how to do. The first is fall, and the second is how to lose. Because you lose a lot. You lose all the time. You spend your first probably year of jiu-jitsu losing all the time. Every day. Day in, day out. Getting smashed, getting beat, getting roughed up. You know what I'm saying? Like it is not anybody with, not everyone, with their sorts, but pretty much any person, even if you have some physical challenges, is capable of doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But not every person's heart, mind, and soul are capable of doing that. It will chew up your ego and spit it out, right? And so learning how to deal with that kind of failure on the progress as the price you pay to get good at jiu-jitsu is one of the biggest lessons I've ever had in my life. But if you want to talk about like how like things I failed at, like, oh man, I've failed a lot of stuff. I've had failed restaurants.
But I mean, what's a lesson you take away?
You had a
from those
restaurant?
I've opened 3 restaurants.
What?
I was like the executive chef. I wasn't like the money person. Like, no, but yeah.
I love hearing about the whole lives people had before tech.
So like, what was the question? What's
a lesson you've learned from one of those failures, right? Like failures happen and we're wrong about a lot of things. And usually we change our mind or we change how we act or how we approach a problem.
Honestly, the biggest thing I have learned from my failures is that failure is not something to fear. Right. Failure, people who are successful all the time are lying. Nobody is successful all the time. Nobody's 100% anything, right? And how you fail, how you learn, how you deal with failing, and how you learn from failing is as important, if not more important, than how you learn to succeed. And I'll get, so like my daughter, right? My 15-year-old now, right? Is a 2-time world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for when she was 8, right? She never lost a fight.
Wow. Until
last month. And she went in against the current reigning Pan American champion in her age division. And she just got rocked. She got put on her back and just absolutely dominated the whole thing, right? And you know, I was there, and my ex, her mom is also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We're both high level competitors, and like, you know, we're blah blah blah. We watched it happen, and I was like, the first thing that I had to do was like, she came off there, and I was like, I'm proud of you. You did great.
Yeah, that's a big moment.
And she was really upset. She was really upset, right? Because that had never happened to her before, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, you didn't fail, right? You didn't win, but you didn't fail. You went out there, you did a good job. You did, you know, your best. You had a hard competitor. She's really good, right? That doesn't mean you're bad, right? It just means she's better than you, right? And Jess is like, okay, let's get you some food. Let's get you blah, 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 blah. And like 2 hours later, she's chit-chatting with her friends, you know, on Discord and playing games, stuff like that, you know? And I think that's great because I know grown-ass dudes who go home and they're just despondent because they lost. Yeah. They cannot deal with it.
I was just going to say that I feel like that is such a wonderful lesson to learn at that age. Like, bro, we come into contact with people every day that they could have become better humans, learning how to fail and learning how to manage those emotions while failing.
That's
you know what
it.
I mean? Like, because I'm sorry, but like, look at the news and how many people who have like mass shootings and craziness because they were told no. You know what I mean? Or because they weren't able to do something. Like,
every woman I know has to run through the checklist of telling a dude no.
No, I swear to God, it's the scariest thing that you have ever experienced. Like, people are like, well, why don't you just tell them no? Why don't you just end the date? And you're like, because I'm scared for my actual life the whole entire time. How many times have I told you both I was going on a date and that, like, if I didn't, like, call in so, like, or text in so long to make sure that I wasn't dead? Both of you.
You know what I mean?
I'm
I'm still waiting. You should be sharing your location. Real talk.
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
that is such a wonderful lesson, but it's like such a poignant lesson because we know adults who have never had to learn how to manage those emotions and work through that.
And a lot of those adults assume that this is a zero-sum game.
Yes.
That they
Yeah.
have to win, otherwise there's nothing. And it's like,
And it's
no,
really
this
sad
is-
because how many kids events, because we all have children and they all play sports, how many kids events have we been at where the adult is then teaching the next generation of children that same mindset of zero sum?
The great thing I like about being a ref in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is you have to be a brown belt or a black belt. So, you know, like when the parents yell at me, I'm like, you sure about that? You know what I'm
I
saying?
love you so much. But I wanted to say, though, my favorite, like, you are an amazing technologist. You have great spacey takes, but my favorite thing about you is your heart. Like, I love that you just, like, you're just like a big teddy bear. Like, I don't care how much jujitsu you do and all the spiciness.
Oh, I am-
You're
I
such
am-
a teddy bear.
I am the
That's
softest
about
of heart. I'm no, no.
But I love that about you.
I
That's my
cry.
favorite part of you.
I cry at commercials.
you. But I love
You know what
that
I'm
you
saying?
own that shit.
Yeah,
And but
okay.
no, because like we need more examples of like being able to do that. And then I love that if anyone talks shit about you, you could also beat them up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just like you are just like the complexity is delicious. Like, I love this for you.
But the thing is that like, you know, it's like, did I lose a match? Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Well, that and I
Good
love
time.
that you are willing to say the thing that everybody is thinking but is too scared to say, like, half the time. Okay, but I do have a question. Out of all
Okay.
the spicy takes you've ever had, have you ever, like, committed to one and then been like, oh shit, I was wrong?
Yes.
Like, what is the spiciest take that you, like, fully committed to and then you're like, you know what?
God, what did I? This is one on Twitter, and I can't remember what it was. And I you know, the actual thing, what it was is like that. It was when you know when the leftist purity tests were on Twitter. They had for a while, right?
Oh, sweet Jesus.
And
Not ready.
you know, like, and so like I've been in the Marine Corps. I was in the military, and then like, you know, purity leftist Twitter came after me for being like a warmonger in the 90s, and I was like, bro, it was 93, and I was trying to get out of my parents' house and get some money together, and college wasn't an option for me. So like, I don't, you know, yeah, I joined the Marine Corps. I was like, yeah, I was 18. That was the thing. Like,
But also,
if
that's
you-
such a
it-
privileged take for somebody. You know what I mean? Like,
very,
I think that we have to be
oh,
really
there was
careful.
there was a lot of college going white kids who were coming after me out, and I'm like, that's all well and good. Well, I was poor too. I'm like, but you were poor and white.
But, well, not just that, but there's different levels of poor.
Yeah.
Okay? Like,
Yeah.
pretending that, like, there's not different levels of what you experience when you're, like, middle class or lower middle class, and then, like, making
But-
out with poverty, and then like, you know what I mean? Those are very different, like,
And
like
the thing is, like, this issue is that the system is such that is one of the only options for a lot of people, and we
It
don't
is.
have other options for people out there, like for the, like, you know, like,
I think especially for people of color, it is a very, like, it is
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the few ways that a lot of people have to change their class. Like,
Yeah.
to go from poverty to a little bit less than poverty,
To
or to buy a house, because people are
buy
forgetting
a
the
house
No,
to get
'cause
some
the VA
generational
loan,
wealth. Yeah,
like,
VA loans. Yeah.
So, I think that people, I think there's a lot of people that was not their first choice, but it was their only of
And
their
so-
options.
And so, like, it was, you know, it was one of those things, and I can't remember what I said, but essentially it was essentially just like I don't know why you're blaming me here, like, you know, in the essence, in a lot of ways, I'm a victim to the system too, right? And a lot of people had problems, and I would say that yes, to an extent, I am like the rest of us, you know, grounded in the wheels of capitalism, but also like it wasn't necessarily the best way to go about it, because like it wasn't that, like, yeah, do I regret joining the Marine Corps? No, right? Would I have done it had I other options? No.
But I think
You know
that
what I'm
there's still the same kind of, like, people also will sit there and blame you if you take out student loans and then say, well, you have to pay them back and all this stuff because, like, you shouldn't have took out student loans. But then also, what are the other options? So I think
Yeah.
it's hard.
So I think there's, like I said, there.
That's
you
not
know,
a
this
spicy
was-
take, though, Tim. Out of your
I
real
said-
spicy takes, what is your spicy take you want to take back? If whether it be technology, something that was like,
I think I popped off at Amazon's or Microsoft security one time, something like that.
Oh,
And,
well, that's easy. I mean, that's not even spicy.
Well, it was
see,
because
now
I was
Justin's
like,
spiciness is coming out. That's
but
why
hold on,
he's on three clouds.
and
Hitler's
I
at
will,
this point.
but here's the thing though, like, and I'll never because it was Ian Coldwater who called me out and said like, look, there are people that are working on stuff just like you are, just like the rest of us, doing the best they can. That I always fund it, blah 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 blah. You know, and I was like, you know, first of all, like, there's a lot of things I can tolerate and say in the world, but I would rather you cut off my arm than know that Ian Coldwater was disappointed in something that I did. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, they
like,
are
that hurts.
like they are.
That hurts.
Look, top tier human. Like
They are.
Not only
They are.
when you
Yeah,
meet
that's
them in
like-
real
that's
life,
like-
they are one of the most like
No, they are
prolific
absolutely-
tech people.
yeah.
But when you meet them in real life, they are the nicest, most humble. Like,
Here's the thing. You can never go wrong by asking yourself, what would Ian Coldwater do?
I think if they were mad at me, I would probably cry. Like I.
Oh,
would
no,
be
I did.
more-
I was-
like,
I
would
was-
be more
I-
upset if they were mad.
I
at me than,
was
my family or something.
I was sobbing.
Because like I actually care about because
Yeah,
I think they're a
yeah.
worthy
'Cause
person.
when you
of
when you
passing the
disappoint
judgment.
when you disappoint someone who's important to you, right? Like it hurts. Like I told you, I'm a big softie, right? So yeah, those are the ones that like I regret, and not because of like, but because they were right. They're absolutely right. I had not given thought about like.
But
the
that is a
prolongation
really
with
good.
circumstances.
But I think that's a good lesson though, because in tech we are like. I think this is the part I struggle with, is the pissing contest that you must get into as an engineer. Like sometimes I'm real good at it, like, you know, but sometimes it feels like you're arguing to argue because you can write code many different ways and that doesn't necessarily need to be like that argument.
Yeah.
But I think it's so ingrained and the judgy and I would have done this better, which there's a part that is valuable, but sometimes you forget that they're humans building this and they're trying their best.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's
And
actually a good lesson.
It was very much like a punching down kind of thing, which I was like,
Yeah.
like sure. Now, but that said, like I have no problem punching up. I will punch up all day long. I punch way above my weight class.
We
right?
know.
But no, like it was one of those things. I was like, yeah, no, you were absolutely right, and I'm sorry. Like I was despondent about that. So it's like
I never want them to be mad at me ever.
Yeah, it was so yeah that's probably the thing like that.
But see, that was such like a good like lesson though that everybody could learn because we all make mistakes like that. Like I think it's easy to forget that there's humans behind it because we just look at the companies, you know.
Yeah.
And like
but,
we're all out here.
But also by and large, if my feeling, if your feelings were hurt by something I said, what is your part in all this? You know, that's the first time I ask you, like, well, why did that hurt your feelings?
Therapy. This is just turned into therapy.
Mm-hmm. But you know, so like I do think we run into this thing where it's like people just sometimes want to pop off, right? So people want to like shit post, and that, you know, that had a good run for a while, right? But it's not really, even now, like I'll say stuff and I'll pop off a little bit, but I pop off at groups of people. I pop off at movements. I pop off mostly at fascists, you know,
miss, like,
capitalists and like that. But
non-hurtful tech shit posts. Like, I almost missed when the people used to argue about if JavaScript was good or not. Like, not because I really want to hear that argument again, but I think it was like just when everything wasn't so sad. Like,
well, you know, the thing is though, is that the relevance of this framework, that framework, has become a lot less because of AI, and we are now.
That's what I'm saying. You don't even get to nerd argue about the little things anymore. You know what I mean? Like, there's no argument about the craft or like the actual like non-offensive horrible things. Like everything is just, I don't know.
But you know what though? I think what becomes more important, because I've always said for a long time that the tech itself is inconsequential. It's boring.
All a tool.
It's meaningless, right? It is a means to an end, right? And so this is now very well illustrated because of the fact that AI can do a lot of some of that low level work, right? You know, syntax or whatever that all these people would argue about. Like, it doesn't matter, right? What is
It's
the
almost
problem you're
like
trying to
only
solve?
being able to paint in one color now. You know what I mean? Like the loss of getting to figure out like
But
how you get to do things and pick
well, it's
things.
even
Like
beyond that. It's even beyond that, right? Because it's like the thing that we should have been talking about all along is the thing we should be talking about now. It's like, what are the people problems? What are the things we're trying to solve? How does the technology, whatever it is, enable you to do what? What is the people and human problem we're trying to solve, right? And so like we went so long discussing the minutia of what framework is better than this framework. Then all these dumb little arguments we have, distro wars, something like that. All the little religious, cultish behaviors we
it
had.
really was religion. It really was.
And then but we should have been talking about people all along. We should have been
Do you
talking.
think we're ever gonna
We
get
should
there,
have
though?
been.
Like, are we ever going to go back to solving actual real problems? Because it feels like we're solving like made up problems that nobody asked for right now. And it's so sad. Like, I feel like we're not like, we're, is it because of the lack of like zero interest rates, or like, what is it? Because
No,
I feel like
no.
we are just,
It's the same thing. It's a lack of innovation. We don't innovate anymore. It's the same thing like the same thing in Hollywood movies. Like, you look at like some of the big blockbusters, it's sequels, it's remakes, it's like rehashes.
it's really hard to get passionate about like fake made up problems. You know what
Well,
I
it's
mean?
really hard to get passionate about doing the same thing a different way. And
A lot of tech is doing the same thing different ways, but this is like,
because
you know
we
what I
don't,
mean?
but we don't understand the people enough. We also don't understand enough context behind who the people are, right? Because even I think this for a lot of people, it goes back to what I said before. A lot of people, I'm just a software engineer. Like, that's what do you do, right? What did you ask? What did I tell you when you asked me what I do?
You told me about jujitsu.
I do Brazilian
It's not
jiu-jitsu.
so.
That's the way. Like, if I ask you what you do and you tell me what you get paid for, like, who are you, right? I'm a software engineer. No, that's your job. Who are you? And until we have a full scope of who people are, we don't know how to talk to them. We're just going to talk about tech.
People don't even know how to talk to them about themselves.
I don't know if people know how to talk to each other anymore in general, and I don't
Yeah.
know if they like want like at some point our AIs are just going to be talking to each other.
Well, that's why
So-
I don't have like conference badges up here. That's why I don't have,
Well,
bunch
all
of
your
tech stuff
badges are
back over here.
gold. I mean, you have a better
Yeah,
badge. to
that
hang.
come on,
This is-
don't lie. Like you're just like I don't put the plastic up because I got you don't have any space. Like be real.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I make it very obvious.
But
I
see,
do
I
more than
think the
tech.
contrast though, when you're a woman in a male-dominated field, though, I am really proud of what I've done in this field. But that's
And you
not my
should be.
entire personality.
And you
it's
should
not,
be.
You know what I mean? So that I do think that you can do both, but I don't. Not that I know the right way to do both, but
I think one of the points Tim's making out here is you are what you measure, right? Like the age-old thing of you are what you measure in a company, in technology, and whatever. But also as individuals, what do you measure about yourself?
I'm really proud that I'm a good friend and a good mom.
Yeah. But to that end, like if I'm not gonna put up a bunch of nerd shit back there to give me nerd cred.
I'll hide my.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm fine with
Like
Unabashedly love it.
like if you want to talk to me about nerd shit, we'll talk about nerd shit. But I'm gonna be like, is this really what you want to talk about? And because it's not important. It is not important. The people, the problems we're trying to solve, the differences we're trying to make are what's important. If you want to talk to me about, hey, I did this demo that say 5 seconds off of this, or my build time runs 2% faster, I don't care. I promise.
Then I pose you a question: How do we get back to How do we get in the capitalistic society we live in, and in the new age of technology? How do we get back to solving problems that do matter, that are important?
Well, the first thing you got to do is start talking to people about people's stuff. It's the
In
first thing you got to do.
person is also a great, like, going and being around people in physical space to be able to talk and it's not a transaction, it's not a meeting, it's not a social media post, it's not a like, it's
That's why I love conferences.
Well, that's the thing, right? The important part of conference is never the talks.
Yeah.
It's the hallway track.
Do
and
you
I
wonder
keep
if we're going to lose that though, because people
Absolutely.
aren't funding like
Absolutely.
conferences?
Absolutely
Like
will.
I kind of wonder if like, so I think that we're going to lose a lot on Stack Overflow because the breadcrumbs we're not leaving for others, right? But I also think that people look at conferences as like I don't
The
think
only people going
companies
to
oh.
I would say the only people going to conferences now by and large are salespeople.
it's the
But like,
professionals.
but what's weird though, because it's like, I think with the lack of DevRel that we have and the fact that companies don't see the value in going to conferences, I wonder how much they're going to lose but not know they're losing.
You know what will end up happening though, is that conferences will start to go away, like the ones we see, because
They already have.
salespeople talking to other salespeople are going to not going to be like, and you know what, good. Let's
And
go
those
back
are
to
the people
meetups.
that you run away from half the time. Like,
Yeah, but let's go back to meetups. Let's go back to more community focused stuff. Like salespeople don't want
I
to
think
go in that stuff.
the smaller local communities is going to be a lot more important. My New Year's resolution for myself, which I need to get back to, was to meet all of my neighbors on my street. I literally have lived here for 15 years and I don't know all of them. And I was like, I should know this community because this is the community I picked and I've lived here for 15 years. And extending that out to my social environment of work or people with like interests, right? Like I have a hockey team now. I've learned a lot more of the people at hockey where I'm like, cool, we're on a team, but I also learn people on other teams and I play other nights, and knowing those pockets of communities is super important to go meet them in person, spend my time and show up and talk to them as people that all have problems and all have interests, and some of it matters, some of it doesn't, but it doesn't, we can connect and we can be humans together.
We need to do community building, right? Actual community building, not, you know what I'm saying? Not like team building within our orgs, but I mean like community building. Like how do we talk to people who do all the same thing, right? To get to know them as part of building a community. And community is not just all the people that do the thing, right? Community is people who have things in common, who can work together towards a common goal, right? And if you can't figure out how to work with someone, you can't figure out what the common goal is, you don't have a community. You know what I'm saying? You just got people that are stuck in a place together.
Yeah. Tim, where can people find you online?
Oh, man. So you can find me on the blue sky at elchefe.me. I have a blog, kind of like again, every time I say it, it's like I need to update it. I need to update it at tim-banks.ghost.io. Aside from that, if you want to holler at my Instagram, it's at elchefenegro. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
I just started a ghost too.
You signed up. Good job. It's
Be
a start.
proud of me.
Yeah, it's good. that is step number one. You're good.
Yeah.
Tim, as always, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. I
sharing.
like this. Definitely, I want to do it again. We got to do an after dark one though.
I really think we should. It would be fun. We just need to
It needs to be a live stream.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we will talk to you again soon. Keep those community building strong and be kind to each other. All right.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Fork Around and Find Out. If you like this show, please consider sharing it with a friend, a coworker, a family member, or even an enemy. However we get the word out about this show helps it to become sustainable for the long term. If you want to sponsor this show, please go to fafo.fm/sponsor and reach out to us there about what you're interested in sponsoring and how we can help. We hope your systems stay available and your pagers stay quiet. We'll see you again next time.